Hey guys, it's time for Twin Flame Truth TV. I'm Elle Hari, Twin Flame Alchemist, writer, teacher, and coach. In today's episode, we are going to talk about your fear-based energy, the big sellout. First of all, I want to apologize for coming on a little late today. We've had some technical difficulties. As you can see, I have all these lights, artificial light going on in here today. Right now, we're in the midst of a really dark and huge thunderstorm, so please bear with me regarding Wi-Fi issues and such like that. We all know how awful my connection is regardless, and usually for some reason, when there's thunderstorms, my Wi-Fi tends to act up. Hopefully that won't happen too badly here. So let's get into today's topic. So as we know, the twin flame journey is all about loving yourself. That is actually what the whole point of this journey is, to learn to love yourself on the deepest level possible. And that level is your soul level. And, loving yourself means being true to yourself. And, there's actually a word for that, and it's called integrity. And so what happens is your fear-based energy doesn't allow you to have integrity. When you have integrity, you are your truth. You be your truth. You are your truth. And I mean, it actually doesn't matter if you speak your truth, because words are relevant, but when you do speak, it's your truth. It comes from truth. Truth is non-emotional. Truth is constant. Truth, doesn't change. And your fear-based energy, on the other hand, it changes. It tells you what your truth is. It tries to get you to think that your truth is a different truth than what it actually is. I'll give you an example. So for people experiencing a twin flame journey, the fear-based energy tries to tell them that their truth is that they want to be with their twin flame physically. That's what your twin flame fear-based energy tells you. You desire, you want to be physically with your twin flame. That is not your soul's truth. Your soul's truth, which is your truth, your soul is truth, your soul is you, and that is authentic, that is integrity, that is truth, is that you are your twin flame. And therefore, there's no need for you to want or desire or need to physically be with your twin flame, because you are your twin flame. See, the fear-based energy perception that you want or need to be with your twin flame physically makes you believe, looks at it from a perception that you are two separate beings, that there's a separation there, that you somehow aren't together. The truth is, and what your soul truth is, and what there is one truth, the truth is for everyone, every single being, is that you and your twin flame are the exact same being. You are your twin flame. So therefore, you are never separate. That illusion of separateness is fear-based energy. Of course, yes, you are two separate physical bodies, but remember, we're not our bodies, we are our soul. And the reason we are two separate physical bodies is because energy must assimilate into the separate duality of the 3D world when it is here in the 3D world. Your soul is energy, so your soul has to do the same. And how energy becomes duality is through polarization. It polarizes itself. It becomes two opposite charges of the same energetic field. Notice I said the same energetic field, because while you have two separate physical bodies, while you're incarnated here, they are still part of the same exact energetic field, shared with no one and nothing else in the entire cosmos but those two physical bodies of twin flames. So you're never separate. You cannot sever, you cannot break, you cannot separate, you cannot cut or divide that energetic field. It's always connected. It always is the same energetic field. The duality and polarization means that just within that energetic field, that same energetic field, there's half of it's push, half of it's pull energy, but it's all still within the same energetic field. So you're never separate. The illusion of separateness brought about by your fear-based energy is the perception that the fear-based energy is looking at it only from a physical perspective, right? So if you just look at it physically, it looks like the two physical bodies are two separate things, and they're going their own separate way and doing their own separate things and saying their own separate things. But that is not truth. That is not your truth. Your soul is truth, knows truth, and your soul knows that you are the exact same being. That's the whole point of soul recognition, right? Your soul knows who it is and who you are, and you are your twin flame. So because this journey must take place on the level of the soul, in order for you to love yourself, because the point is, like I said in the beginning, to love yourself on the deepest level, which is on your soul level. You must look at it and be from the perspective of your soul, not of your physical 3D fear-based energy. And yes, that is challenging and tricky for us humans to do when our whole entire life and every lifetime before this, we have just been mired in the fear-based perception of everything. And everyone around us is as well until they start this journey, right? So the point of this journey is to get out of that, to rise above that. And so we must do that from the perception of our soul. And so, when your fear-based energy, and when you don't have integrity, your fear-based energy, why it's a sellout is that when it's looking only towards, from the physical viewpoint, the perception that you are two separate physical bodies, and that's what you are, when we know we're not our bodies, we are our soul, and our soul is not separate from our twin flame, it's the exact same soul, it then tends to cause you to do, say, feel, think things that are contrary or opposite of your own truth, of your soul. And that would be come in the form of, I say selling out, but compromising, sacrificing, placating, doing things that, your soul, that aren't in, putting yourself and your soul first. Doing things, from the want or need or desire to physically be with your twin flame, rather than from the actual truth of knowing that you are your twin flame. And so there's nothing to do, say, think, feel regarding your twin flame. You are your twin flame. So the only thing necessarily to do is shift your perception, right? Your perception from the fear-based perception, focusing on what's going on physically, to the soul perception of just knowing that none of that even matters because you're already together. That is what is called collapsing the duality within you. And as soon as you collapse that duality within yourself, your soul, you become one with your soul, closer to one with your soul. You don't become totally one until you reach ascension, but that's not even necessary for these purposes here where we're at in our journey. We just become closer to one with our soul. And then at that point, the soul takes over, and the soul does everything, because the soul is itself, desires itself, the polarity disappears, and same energetic becomes neutral. And your shared energetic field and twin flame, then the two physical bodies can then come together, because there's no more push-pull going on within the shared energetic field, right? How you know that your fear-based energy is present in there is that, your fear-based energy's truth changes. It changes its truth from moment to moment, if you've noticed, or emotion to emotion. I have students come in. I was in the same space at that point in my journey as well, where, when they first come in, they're pissed off. They hate their twin flame, supposedly. They don't even want to be with their twin flame, just want to get over their twin flame, whatever. I have other students that come in just obsessed, wanting to be their twin flame. That's all they want. They don't even care. They'll sell themselves down the river just to do it. They sell their kidney to do it, whatever. That's all they want. And, but both of those things are extremes. Then, a couple days later, or minutes, or however long later, the ones who hate their twin flame are so angry, switch to being the ones who will do anything to be with their twin flame. Then the ones who were doing anything to be with their twin flame, or want to do anything to be with their twin flame, selling themselves out, switch to being angry and not wanting to be their twin flame, right? It flip-flops, it changes, it swings back and forth. Any of you in a twin flame journey know you vacillate back and forth from loving your twin flame to hating your twin flame, or wanting to be their twin flame, or angry with your twin flame, or whatever, right? So we're doing anything you can to bargain, to sell out, to settle, to compromise, to sacrifice, to be with your twin flame physically, to then like being like, oh my God, this person's such an asshole. I can't believe I want to cut the cord. I want to do all this other stuff, right? Truth does not change. Your truth is constant. All truth is constant. There's no changing. There's no swings in, feelings with it. It's non-emotional. The truth has no emotion with it. The truth just is. It's truth, and that's your soul. And so that's one way to identify if it's fear-based energy trying to trick you into believing it's your truth, or if it's actually your soul, your truth. Your soul does not change. Truth does not change. There's one truth and one truth only, always, regarding everything. There's one truth, right? And so it doesn't change. It doesn't swing back and forth. It's level, it's balanced, it's neutral, and it's math. Love has in the physical 3D world, the 3D physical world viewpoint or definition of what love is, remember, from a fear-based point of view, which means it's not love at all, because fear and love cannot coexist. So, there's the notion out there in physical 3D world reality that that you need to sacrifice. Love takes sacrifice. Love takes compromise. Love takes sometimes not getting all that we want or desire. Love takes going against our own boundaries and looking outside of ourselves and putting other people or the person we supposedly love before our own needs, wants, and desires, right? And our own truth. But that's not love. That is all fear-based definition of love. But that's not what true love is. True love does not require any sacrifice. True love is loving yourself. Loving yourself first. That's why this twin flame journey is about loving yourself, and it's the first part of the whole entire journey of ascension, where you will then, eventually we will then all begin to love each other in that way. But first we must square with ourselves. And that's why the physical form of the twin flame, that other physical body, is involved in this part of the journey. It's not because, you have to have a physical, relationship with that person, with that body. It's because that body is also you, your soul, that you're learning to love, and that body reflects back to you the perfect reverse mirror of exactly who you are. And that's how you can identify and see who you are. And then only once you see and know and identify who you truly are, can you truly love yourself. And loving yourself means you put that first. You must put yourself first. It's not sacrificing. It's not, selfish to not sacrifice yourself. It's not selfish, not sell out. It's not selfish to not compromise anything about your truth. You have to love yourself first before any of us can even think about loving anything or anyone else. And we're just not truly there yet on a level of human consciousness. This is the first step, loving ourselves. And we're still all learning to do that, right? So, I just wanted to come on here and say that, if you feel yourself, sacrificing, anything, putting up with anything, if you really look at it and see from your truth is just like taking a focus off of your soul and you to focus on that physical person, your twin flame, who and what they're saying, doing, thinking, feeling. And you're willing to, say after 6 months of your twin flame blocking you and, being with other people or whatever, and you're willing to just, all of a sudden they call or text and you go running, go be with them. They're then what? Gonna haul ass from you very shortly after that. But, it's taking your focus off of yourself and right onto, your twin flame and being at your twin flame's physical beck and call. But really that body is not your twin flame. To really love yourself and your twin flame at the same time, which has to happen because you're the same being, you must focus within on your soul and not concern yourself with what that physical body of your twin flame is doing, saying, thinking, feeling. That is not the perception you need to be in order to advance on this journey. That is the fear-based energy perception. You need to shift the perception back onto your soul, yourself within, and off of anything that twin physical body of your twin flame is doing, saying, thinking, feeling. Challenging, yes, but it's actually just that simple. So thanks for watching this episode of Twin Flame Truth TV. I will see you next week in another episode. Have a great week, everybody, and lots of love.